to Dallas. The Suns playing the Mavs. This one is a pick'em. This line has kind of moved all over the place. It was open with the Suns as an underdog, moved with the Suns as a favorite. Now we're pretty much even. Total here is 218. Suns up 2-0. Phoenix won game 1 by 7, won game 2 by 20, rather. Chris, how are you looking at this game tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm the last or the sole Mavericks defender on this show at this point, but that's okay. We'll continue to ride that out at least a little bit more, I think. Again, just like we said for the 76ers tonight, if there's any spot for any team to kind of show up and show the best version of themselves, it's game 3 when they go back to their home court, when they're down 0-2, backs against the wall. And if you look at some of these marks by the Phoenix Suns in the first 2 games, I mean, they have been incredible. I mean, if the Phoenix Suns played this way against any team, they would kill them. And that's what we're seeing. 57.5% from the field in games 1 and 2 on average, 45% from beyond the arc. They're winning the rebound game by over 20 rebounds in that 2-game span. The assist advantage, over 20 more assists in 2 games. Just in almost every category, you're seeing the Suns dominate. So then you ask yourself, well then, Chris, why the heck would you want to bet on the Mavericks tonight? Well, part of me doesn't because it's a little scary. But I think in the first half, at least, we've seen a Mavericks team who, until the Suns make those halftime adjustments, they're able to hang with the Suns. They're able to slow down the game a little bit. And a big part of that is Jalen Brunson for me. I mean, Brunson has only 22 total points in the first 2 games of this series. He's shooting 31% from the field. He's not confident from three-point land either. The Mavericks need Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson to both be aggressive, to both be confident, and to have good games in order to beat this Phoenix Suns team. The Suns have done a great job at limiting all the other players, basically, except for Luka. Luka can't do it alone, as we know, right? I mean, this is the version of the Mavericks that we've seen in the past, where it's so much about Luka, and he's a brilliant player, but they're not going to win a lot of games if that's the case. Even players like Dorian Finney-Smith barely showed up in game 2. I just expect in Dallas now, backs against the wall, in the first half at least, we're seeing an interesting line here, right? Because the Mavs are favored in the first quarter and first half, and then full game is a pick'em. I think that makes sense. I like that the books are giving them some respect, right? Because, that shows that maybe my power ratings just aren't all over the place. The Mavericks do deserve some respect, but I still can't take them full game because the Phoenix Suns team has been so good. But I do like the Mavs in the first half, so we're going to go with that at -2 today.
I like that angle as well. I lean towards the Suns full game, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. But I do like your look at the first half because basically the Suns have been allowing Luka to kind of do whatever he wants in that first half. They're like, hey, score as much as you want. They're basically tiring him out in that first half, allowing him to get to his spots. Whatever. I don't know if that's their actual game plan, but it sure seems like that's kind of what's been happening lately. And then in the second half, Luka's exhausted. He can't do it all, and he's got no help from Brunson or Dinwiddie or really any other of those role players. And so I think the first half is the way to play this game. Alex, no play in this game for you, but any thoughts on how you would play it if you had to pick?
Phoenix or nothing for me. I mean, they've come out and kind of blown the doors off this Mavericks team twice. The score in the first game was a little bit closer, but at some point, I guess there has to be a shooting regression. They can't shoot 50% from the field for the entire series, but they have systematically attacked Luka Doncic. And I hope this is a moment, as someone that watched Joel Embiid take abuse from the media for years about his body and his fitness and him not being in shape. I've always wondered why no one's pointed that out about Luka Doncic. Every season he comes in a little overweight and sort of plays himself into shape. And that's fine for the regular season. But when you get to the end of the year, you're just not in the shape you need to be here when teams, again, are systematically attacking you. And not that he's a bad defender, but it's one of the best ways to stop an offensive player. You saw teams do it with Steph Curry for years. We can't stop him on offense. All right, let's run through as many picks as we can. Let's get his legs tired. Let's try to take everything we can out of on the one end of the floor because it only helps on the other end. And hopefully Luka takes all this, brings it home with him for the offseason, and finally starts to get serious, I think, about his overall fitness because he has all the tools. He really does. But you're right. In the second half of these games, he just looks exhausted. His face is bright red. He's huffing and puffing. It's not what you want out of your star player.
No, it is not at all. And offensively, I mean, he's putting up points, but the Suns targeted him 55 times in the pick and roll in game 2. That's a lot. And Chris Paul was just destroying him every time in the mid-range, which obviously
like
led
20
to
years older than him.
Yeah, yes, it is Chris Paul's birthday today. He is 37 years old. Do we take a player prop or an assist prop for Chris? Just, out of respect for the old age?
Well, in tennis, you fade the birthday person. Usually they'll go out and party the night before and maybe they're not as good. But Mr. Paul seems like someone who really is locked in. My guess is that you probably lean towards the overs. That's part of the reason I like Phoenix, honestly, to that. I feel like the locker room, those guys just seem to like each other, and they're probably not going to lose on his birthday, but we'll see. It's certainly not an angle that I'm putting money on.
Chris Paul probably has a gigantic steak in his stomach from last night's birthday dinner. And if listen, I'm no scientist or dietitian, but that can slow you down a notch. So I would bet, if anything, as I wave my finger at both of you, I would bet against Chris Paul, probably going over that mark again, right? I mean, if Chris Paul is going to play like that, along with Devin Booker and I mean, the Suns are almost impossible to beat. And to capitalize on Alex's point before too, I wish there was a way to measure stamina per team, because I feel like the Suns would have to be top 3, top 5. Nobody on that team gets tired, and it's really hard for any team to hang with that, especially a team as kind of lethargic as the Mavs can be. That's why Dinwiddie and Brunson need to bring the speed, or else it's just not even a competition at that point, right? You just kind of run them off the floor.
Chris Paul had a massive steak last night.
Is he a vegetarian?
Chris Paul is a vegan.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe a massive slab of tofu. I'm not vegan. I don't know what you eat. A bunch of beans.
Hopefully Luka takes him out for the beans and learns whatever the heck's going on. I mean, I forget, I saw a tweet the other day. They tweeted out all the names that were drafted in the year Chris Paul was, and those guys have been retired for 5 years. It's unbelievable that he's out there at this age putting up 20 and 10. It's nuts.
Yeah. Very much so. All right, Chris is the only one with an official play in this game, taking the Mavericks first half -2.